Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for your support on this measure, which goes back to the previous Congress. We switched places. It was Durbin-Hawley, now it's Hawley-Durbin. It's a bill we're working on together on a bipartisan basis, as we should. I'm sorry that I'm late. I had a press conference scheduled with the leader that I couldn't change. I just want to follow up with a question or two. The Stop CESAM Act is a comprehensive child protection bill, as we all know. We counted on survivors, law enforcement, prosecutors, and victims to help write it. A significant portion of the bill is dedicated to strengthening privacy protections for child victims. All CESAM victims have their dignity and privacy further ripped away from them when their abuse is captured in pictures or videos and put on display. That's why Stop CESAM Act includes significant updates to federal law, such as creating a presumption in favor of keeping protected information under seal and providing the court with remedies against any attorney who does not comply with these privacy provisions. Mr. Schiller, can you explain why it's necessary to make these updates? In particular, I'd like your thoughts on why it's important to have an enforcement provision within this statute.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate the question. I cannot begin to tell you how many times in my years of prosecuting cases that I have had to redact documents to do what I needed to do to protect a victim's identity. For years, we didn't know how to handle it. We didn't know exactly what we were supposed to do, and this legislation gives us that direction. But more so, it makes sure that criminal defense attorneys, pro se defendants who might not care about their victims because, frankly, they're the ones who were violating them, want to continue to harm them. Not the defense attorneys, of course, but the defendants themselves. This law would make sure that they can't do that anymore, and there would be sanctions in place if they did.
Ms. Sines, your exploiter was recently prosecuted in federal court. I understand you participated in that process. What, if anything, could have been done to make it easier or better for you?
Thank you, Senator. In all transparency, it was the easiest thing I think I have ever done. My prosecutor to the detective who worked my case made it effortless for me. They handled the brunt of any accusations, any terrible questions. They were able to shield me from having to sit and look through images and identify myself. Truly, I consider myself very lucky that I don't think anything could have been done better for my case, but I know that that's not how it is for every victim. I know that law enforcement falls short. I know prosecution can fall short. In my case, my school resource officer fell short. I think it's making sure that everyone is well educated on CESAM and what sextortion and exploitation means and how prevalent it is in their own backyards.
That is so good to hear after all you've been through, that you had a day in court of that nature.
Thank you, Senator.
Mr. Pizarro, welcome back.
Thank you.
Let me ask you about the enhanced privacy protections available to child victims continuing when they turn 18. Is that important?
It's really important, and I think that's the aspect. You know, I think, you know, part of the reporting aspects, just from a law enforcement, as Mrs. DeLune had indicated, we don't have the information when we're trying to do these investigations. So I think that's the challenge, and the reports that we do get, and this is where Stop CESAM really helps law enforcement actually get quality leads in order for us to go out and investigate and find victims and protect them better.
I'm going to ask you a question that I'm sure others would like to know the answer to as well. Are there any good guys out there, any social media spots and others that are responding properly in timely fashion?
It's, how do I word this? It's, I would say no. I would say some do it better than others, but what they're doing good isn't good at all.
Any of the panelists have anything to say on that?
Thank you, Senator. I agree. I think some of them have been getting better, but I think that a lot of that has to do with the pressure that they've been receiving from law enforcement, from prosecutors, from the Department of Justice to provide more information. But that's not the way it's supposed to happen. There's supposed to be a uniform standard to make sure that they're all providing the same and necessary information. It would help NCMEC to be able to process their reports faster, to get to law enforcement so that the prosecutors can issue subpoenas and search warrants and we can move faster. Every day that we have to wait on information. Every day that we're not getting enough information is a day a child is being harmed, and we can't have that. We need robust information if we're going to do our jobs properly.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.